welcome to the 100th Mile podcast. Today is day 13 on Veer, joined by race director Ian Tope, and special guest today, two gentlemen we have talked about a lot throughout the race. We have Sam Muscat and Will Dixon, who were vying for that first rookie spot. What a battle that's been. We'll get into that in just a second. Thanks for coming and joining us today, guys.
Nice one. Thanks, mate.
How you both feeling?
Happy to be here. Yeah. Very happy the race is over.
Looking far too fresh. Happy day. Okay, well, before we hear about your race, let's just jump straight into it and see how everyone else is doing on the road. Because although the men finished, the lead men, we have a battle going on for the women's race. And it looks like it's going to conclude in about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Have you guys been watching that? You actually saw our leader, Joanna, on the road.
Yeah, I spent some time with her.
Yeah. She was going very well at the start.
Yeah, so I had I was having a meal and she had a couple of beers. We had a slight interaction there, but then coming up a climb through France, we spent some time together, and she was actually really lovely. So I'm rooting for her to come over the finish line first as a first woman.
Yeah, well, she started so fast, didn't
Yeah.
she? She was super strong the first couple of days. And I know you did as well, right? You were in the top 5, and she was right up there with you.
Yeah, it was hard going at the start. My tactic was just no sleep and just go as hard as possible. Backfired because of the recovery. My knee just kind of gave up on me. So yeah, I think it's a good tactic if you can maintain the physical fitness, but it really taxes you.
Yeah,
taxes you physically.
I mean, it's a long way to go, and obviously everyone's going to have issues of some sort, some worse than others. Clearly, you did. I think Joanna's been slowed down by obviously the heat and certain other things.
Yeah,
we'll
I'd say lack of sleep, to be honest with you.
And there are some reports of her having Sherman's neck, but that's not confirmed.
Okay.
Although she has previously had Sherman's neck in racing Poland, but even then she won, and that was last year's.
Well, she's been holding on to that lead though, and it's been interesting because it was a substantial lead in the women's race, and it has shrunk. And Saz got right up to her about a day ago, and it's been touch and go. I don't know if you guys have been watching that.
A little bit. She did look pretty close, but the little distances you see on the map suddenly freaking huge when you're trying to chase it down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still a bit of a gap.
I mean, and it's been another hot day today, and I know you guys suffered like dogs in that heat out there.
True.
It's to anyone who's still out there. I'm sure you don't envy them.
My hat goes off to them. Yeah, it's hard. It's harder. The longer it goes on, the harder it becomes.
Yeah, I was getting more and more jealous of Adam.
Yeah.
Longer my race went on, I was like, damn, he's chilling with that
What a
freaking
man.
beer back in the bar already. So yeah, it's actually I think worse for the people who are out there for longer, for sure.
Well, and then we've got Anissa not too far behind, and she's looks to be consolidating that third place. Fiona had a fantastic ride, didn't she, Ian? But she's now scratched.
She has scratched this morning. She's been suffering with knee issues for a number of days now, and she's had to scratch because of prevention of long-term injury. Although she was very reflective of lessons that she's learned, successes that she can celebrate, and she's coming here with Broom Wagon Mechanic Pete. So that'll be great to have her here in our community, telling her stories, and we can just tell her how well she's done, because her primary objective was to reach just Le Bézi, 1800k, and she'd reached, I think, 2,800k. So huge success for somebody who's not done something.
Yeah, and like you guys can relate to that. Fiona was another rookie in the race. She'd never done like you guys anything anywhere near this big, and she said it would be a win by itself just getting to that first refuge, and she's gone well beyond that.
Amazing.
And and you can definitely relate to this, Sam. She had serious knee pain.
Yeah.
And she's moved things around, and she kept pushing through it. So real
it's
resilience.
amazing. It shows real resilience in a person to be able to push through pain, especially knee pain. It's while cycling, it's one of the most crippling things.
It is a fine line between being able to push and then damaging yourself.
Long-term injury. So these are conversations I was having with myself and eventually with my partner Hattie about long-term injuries and the long-term effects of pushing on through it. But somehow I managed to mitigate pain and seek medical attention and got through it.
Yeah, and you're okay now.
I'm fine now. Yeah,
you won't have any long-term injury.
I don't think so. Yeah, except for the numbness of hands for 6 months apparently. But we'll see. We'll handle that.
He's okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will get onto all that in just a second. Before we do, can you hold that for me, Will?
Can do.
It's Hannibal's segment of the day with Ian. Ian, are there any facts left about Hannibal we haven't
Oh,
heard?
plenty. And if you want to read up about Hannibal, go get a book. I'm just giving you a brief history which fits into the race. So in 207 BCE, Hannibal left Italy. He'd been cornered, but not defeated, and he was recalled by the Carthaginian Senate to Africa. The Romans had invaded, and this culminated in the Battle of Zama in 202 BCE, where he was roundly defeated. He had about 80 war elephants. They weren't well trained, and what happened was the Romans had learned by this time how to deal with them, which was just to stick them full of javelins. Lots of men, lightly armed, throwing their pinpricks of javelins into the elephants. Many of the elephants routed, turned around in pain, charged back towards their own lines, killing and causing confusion amongst Carthaginians. The Romans had superiority in cavalry as well, defeated the Carthaginian wings and enveloped both sides, and the Carthaginian army was completely destroyed. The Carthaginians then sued for peace, and in 201 there was peace. They surrendered to Rome, and that was the end of the Second Punic War.
Sounds like we got off pretty lucky, really. Yeah, boys, quite a nice time here in Italy. No spears thrown at us. So just head with.
Swatched by your own elephant would have been a good way to go either. I think.
See any elephants? Didn't one of you see some funny animals on the roads?
Yeah, I
Porcupine?
saw some.
You saw
two
You
porcupines.
saw
Yeah.
two porcupines.
Yeah. They were mating on the roads, and I interrupted. Sadly, I'm sorry, porcupines.
How did you interrupt?
I just came around a sharp descent, and there they were. I only noticed one of them. I nearly hit that one. Kind of stopped because I wanted to take a photo, and then on my blind side, the female, I'm assuming, had no part of me being there, so she wanted to attack me, and then I had to pedal out of there.
Never a boring day in beer.
Nah, it's fine.
You are responsible for diminishing the population of porcupines.
How dare I?
Yeah, just go back to Australia.
Yeah. That's why you moved so quickly
But
that day.
the badgers as well. The badgers were my favourite. They're very.
Oh, you've seen badgers?
Yeah, they're very mischievous. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of matches.
You guys are obviously riding through the night. If you
Yeah.
seen nocturnal animals like that.
Pushing on.
All right, Sam. So give us your story. How did you come all the way from Melbourne and to hear about this race and to come over here and race in Europe?
I think I just had the urge after doing a very long bikepacking trip, just a solo trip from Melbourne to Sydney, to try and pursue something semi-competitive. I wasn't taking it overly seriously, but just to try and just be a part of like a community based around like long distance cycling, and just to get to know some like-minded people. So after some searches on the internet, I stumbled across the Via race, and put in a very, very late entry, and Ian was kind enough to allow me to enter.
I think I loved your enthusiasm, your passion.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're a fast guy. It seems to me that you're fully committed.
Yeah.
And here you are. You not only made it to the start line, but also made it to the finishing line.
Yeah, barely made it to the start line.
That's another story.
Yeah.
And what's life like for you back home? What do you do in Australia?
I'm just a humble plumber that just gets by day. Yeah.
And you obviously do a lot of riding.
Yeah, I love to ride. Yeah, so I commute to work about 4 a.m. every day. Get to work and then commute home, but normally catch a few extras. Yeah.
And Will, what's your background?
Again, a humble bike mechanic. I just live in the hardy countryside of Oxfordshire, and just love to ride. I guess same to Sam. I'm an adventure rider at heart, and just got a passion for exploring and like turning that long distance racing into the long distance riding, then becoming long distance racing, and seeing how far you can push. And I was lucky to have a buddy that might have got a foot in the door, and to meet Ian, and got the rookie badge, and managed to get a foot on the start line.
So it's quite, like very similar stories from opposite sides of the world.
Yeah,
Which is quite amazing.
yeah, it is interesting.
And you didn't know each other before the start.
No, and we had really similar races as well.
Yeah.
Same issues, like crazy things.
Lots of rookie errors.
Lots of rookie errors that we both shared.
Oh my lord.
And you're both very strong. There's no denying that. let's hear about what happened with the start of your race, Sam, because I think you took a lot of people by surprise over the first couple of days. You were right up there in the top 5.
Yeah.
How did it go?
So my tactic was just to go through the first night. I was actually willing to go through probably the first 2 nights without sleep, and I was just going to go for it. But knee pain just came in hard, and I actually at one stage I thought I tore my MCL.
So wait, was that completely unexpected?
I've never suffered from knee pain in my life, and I call myself the sturdiest knees in the West. Like I think I have some very strong knees, and I pride myself on the strength of my knees. And then to be hit with knee pain was just really absolutely blindsiding. And I think because of how thick they are, the pain was immense. Yeah. So once that hit, it kind of just stopped me in my tracks. I was pedaling with one foot up the north side of Madrid climb and got across that, and then just kind of slowly trekked my way to a hospital, which took I probably lost about a day and a half, I'm going to assume, really, with the movement, like the slow pace I was making. And then once I got treatment, it was all good, yeah. Yeah, so I just wanted just some treatment, and he quickly just gave me a cortisone shot and some anti-inflammatory drugs and sent me on my way. Yeah,
It was as good as new?
I felt really good after that. I don't know if it was anti-inflammatories or the combination of both, but yeah, they definitely helped.
Wow. Now, Will, you had quite a different start to the race. Sam's routine seemed pretty good. Talk us through your first couple of days.
I thought my route at the start was great until I looked at the dot watcher, and then I was like, oh god, what have I done? There's nothing worse. And I'd spoken to my family, and I was like, oh, how's things going? And they're like, yeah, you kind of got a bit of a different way. And I was like, oh, right, okay. And I had a look, and I was just like, this is going to be a long couple of weeks. But managed to, like, just wiggle my way back towards the main track and just joined up with people. But they were like, oh, yeah, you're doing okay. I think you're mid-pack. And now I see that other people are like, no, you were like 60th or something, like right at the back.
It's a comeback.
I know, that's what Ryan said. When he was taking photos, like, the comeback kid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's so
I don't
funny,
think
you
we'll
guys
disagree.
fit, but I was like so far back. And I was suffering. I was like sleeping under trees. I was so hot and just couldn't do anything. I was like, dude, this is going to be long. I don't think I can do this. It was well in my head. And then, just from day 2, it just got a bit better and better and better and just warm.
So you decided to change your tactics with the routing, right?
Yeah, there were a few changes. And I learned the hard way.
Yeah, and you were now at this point watching riders in front.
Yeah, there was a bit of that. It was a mix of sticking with my own route that I had planned, which was most of the time from then on actually was pretty similar or the same to the rest of the tracks of other riders. But having the dot watcher just verifying what other people were doing or other options was pretty handy. Sure.
And then I think we got to about day 3 or 4, and it got very interesting because we knew that in terms of the rookies in the race, Sam had been leading, and you guys were flying.
Yeah.
The fastest of some of the fastest of those rookies, and you began to cross paths.
Yeah.
When did you first become aware of one another?
I don't know. I think I met you on the start line.
Yeah,
You said
we did
I was
briefly,
like,
yeah.
must be you on the other rookie, and it's like, oh, cool, nice. And then I recognised the name on the dot watch.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a bit hollow because I guess, you had a lot of troubles with your knee. But
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, then that let me catch up.
But
And then we just kind of toss and turn.
Yeah.
And then it
Meeting
was
you on the road, I was so leisurely. I was like stopping, taking photos, and like communicating with friends back home. And then as soon as you were on my tail, it kind of put a bit of fire under my bum. And I'd love to say it was a friendly competition, but I'd like to relate it more of a war, to be honest with you. Like I was at fierce battle at many of those points, but
Was it a war with all the riders or just between the two of you?
I felt like it was it was just us two. I think, yeah, everyone else was very friendly. I think, but. Yeah.
You guys were tied on the road for days. Like literally, I was like, Sam's in front now. Oh, Will's in front.
Yeah.
Sam's in front.
Well, the thing is, like, you got 30 kilos on me, so you have beast it on the flat and the down.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't got that. I haven't
It was
got
like
that
a
belly, man.
gazelle at
And then
first.
I was just like, I feel good. I'll just get off this thing, this mountain. And then, we were just toss and turn.
We for those of us watching the dots and seeing you both together, we were wondering to ourselves, how much are these guys actually seeing each other? How much are they talking?
I would see it. You passed me the first time I was sleeping in a kebab store.
Yeah, that's
And I
true.
was like,
As you do.
I was like, who is this guy like passing me? And then once I finally caught up to you,
Yeah.
I realized it was Will that
Yeah.
I looked at. I'm like, no, we cannot have this. So
Beasted it past
I just gassed it. I gave it everything there.
Yeah, but then I couldn't
and then-
back up, didn't you?
I was actually telling people, don't worry, I'll burn him out in a couple of days. I was quite convinced that I had it, and then man, you came back with a few massive efforts. Yeah.
Because I was on the phone to my mum and sister, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, this guy, he's a rookie, but he seems pretty good. I'm sure he's not looking at me as like main competition,
Yeah.
but I'm seeing him as main
Yeah,
competition."
no, I was
He's the
angry.
chief
I was
dude.
angry.
I was like, I don't care about these other people on the
Yeah.
road. It's this like one-on-one Pommy Aussie battle.
Yeah, it's
Like
perfect.
you're in a via race.
But that was driving you guys, fighting with each other, pushing through
us up the
field.
race. Yeah, amazing.
And
yeah.
you were
Yeah, we
both.
did. We did.
Obviously, you had a very good start, Sam, and you were right up there at the very beginning. But then you dropped back, and you were both throughout the race after that, just climbing through.
Yeah,
positions.
We were
So
chasing.
there was a section where we both decided to take the hiker bike early on,
Yeah.
and you went around, and I decided to go the way that Adam went through. It was supposed to be a gravel road section, but once I got there, I decided to chuck on Google Maps, and Google Maps took me into like not even a path. I had to hike a bike before I even got to the hiker bike. I had my bike on my back, and
Shit.
I was walking up what turned into not even to be a trail. It was just the bush. It was gnarly. But I thought I'd completely lost you at that stage.
Yeah.
But by the time I got back onto the track, I was probably only 5 minutes behind her, which was good.
That was before hiking.
Yeah. So just before the night, when I cruised past you when you were just setting up camp that night.
Oh yeah.
Mind games.
Yeah.
I bet you love that.
Yeah. Oh, good.
We did. There were some funny times. Yeah, when I saw it as I was getting into my sleeping bag, and he rode past, and he sort of said to me, he was like, "See you at the refuge." And I'm like, "How am I gonna sleep now?"
Yeah,
Got right
I
away.
was very sleep deprived.
Yeah.
Many of those times that we saw each other. Yeah.
Yeah, so how did that play into like the nights and sleeping? Because obviously you've just explained how much you were focusing on one another.
Yeah.
Did it hinder your sleep?
Yeah.
Such tactics.
I can once I'm dedicated to sleeping, I'm okay. But my plan was pretty much from the start to sleep as minimal as possible. I thought I'd try that tactic out this time around. But I think next time I'd probably try that again. Don't mind the minimal sleep. I think I'll operate not too bad.
How much sleep do you think you'll do next time?
Probably about the same amount. I think the first 5 days I had less than 8 hours sleep this time around.
In total?
Yeah.
So averaging what, 2 hours a night?
Yeah, maybe less.
So you think that works?
For me it works alright. Mm.
Damn, that's
What were your thoughts, Ian, when you up until this point, maybe even a week in, and you were watching this race? What were your thoughts about what was going on?
I think some of the rookie mistakes is not looking after yourself well enough, not hydrating, not eating,
Yeah.
not sleeping enough, and obviously routing errors. I mean, you seem to be routing really well, Sam,
Yeah.
in that first.
I took a week off work to design my route, so yeah.
I think it shows, and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
gave you
yeah.
a big advantage.
Yeah.
And I think, well, it gave you a big disadvantage. So you were well up there.
Mm.
We were just wondering when you blow up.
Yeah, and
Because it's very hard in a 5000k race
Yeah.
to hold that sort of pace.
if it wasn't for the knee, honestly, I think I would have kept motoring along. The knee was the only thing that ailed me, that only hindered my performance.
But that could be
The lack of sleep, probably.
lack of sleep and maybe pushing the pace too hard.
Yeah.
But saying that, next year, your body will have all of that endurance. in it,
Yeah, yeah.
And your knees should be able to hold up better. But to what extent, we don't know.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, Will, your pace was much more moderated, and I thought maybe this will be a negative split where you go fast in the second half. And I think that was the case,
It
actually.
was. I was a bit pretty reserved. In fact, I had so little confidence in making it. It was so. Yeah, actually, I look at it now, and it's kind of funny to me that I'd only brought like enough like supplements and some protein powder for like a week, because I was like, probably I'm not sure if I'm going to get that far. We'll just deal with it if I do get that far. So it was like I was surprised to have been getting better and better and longer days, further and just jumping places, and then. Then the battle really started with us too. So it's interesting.
I do think that, the real race that you guys had was fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
And when you listen to the other riders, there are races within the whole race, not even for first place. But it's great that you guys pushed each other hard.
Well,
Almost all the way to the line.
I'm not sure where I would have ended up if we didn't have Elegant Ballerina. I probably would have it would have been more of a holiday than than a
I
competitive.
mean, I remember
event.
every checkout for the Lidl or whatever I was in, I was tapping my foot, just like looking at that dot, like, damn, dude, he's going 35 k's an hour. Like, what's wrong with this dude? He's a machine, man. So, yeah, I don't know. What an interesting race. And I know that we were like sleeping less and less and pushing hard. And I think I just got the break on like through the Alps a little bit, maybe on the hiker bike. My mountain bike heritage just helped out.
Yeah.
Grab the bike and just run with it. So
You're an absolute beast, man. You did really well, yeah.
And this is one of the things I love is seeing camaraderie after, but actually also during the event. Respect.
yeah, it was nothing but friendly, but it was also like,
Oh,
it was a battle.
Yeah.
It was a battle.
And you
Some friendly competition's always lovely. Yeah, it's good.
and it's interesting just how far you pushed yourself
Mm.
and how much harder you would have pushed yourself because of that competition.
Mhm.
And I think you've both learned a huge amount. And next year, you have learned so much about yourself that you'll improve next year. But then everybody's going to improve next year.
Yeah.
Well, I thought what was really interesting for me was that you were just locked in deadlock for like a week,
Mm.
and then the last couple of days, I feel like you were realizing, learning about yourself, where your limits were, and they were a lot further than where you thought, and you were definitely sleeping less. You were pushing bigger distances than you had the whole race, and it, to me, just watching the dots, it felt like you were gaining a lot of self confidence.
Yeah, I think we're just getting a bit more efficient and thorough. Like also realizing how big a effect any stopping time is. Like you have 2 minutes. That's a huge amount of like effort that you've lost. Like if you could just be on the bike every time you're doing it, all the time, just try and be on the bike. So if it was getting hot, I wouldn't stop. Just slow down. And that was helping me a lot. And just able to push it on and I felt better and better throughout the day. So once it got into that like afternoon, evening, and I know you were suffering in the heat a bit, and I started to feel better and get closer to that like required distance, and you see the K's and the Garmin just like solid. It was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep on pushing. I feel good. So yeah.
Now, and I know this morning you both had a weigh off. You went to the local pharmacy. Tell us how much weight you both lost throughout the race.
We lost a bit, didn't we?
Yeah, so I think I'm about 6 kilos.
Yeah.
Roughly. I think I've started around the 90 kilo mark, and I'm currently 84. Yeah.
Yeah, I went from 65, 66 down to 62. So you lost more.
But I came in very heavy. Like my normal race weight is around 79 kilos. I came in at 90 kilos. So,
Lots of energy stores.
yeah, that was kind of the thinking, but I think my training just fell off towards the end of like the lead up to the race.
But then I think when Will eventually the elastic snapped and that gap started to form at the end, Will managed to get away. You got into some hilly terrain, and it wasn't obviously like we said. You were pushing each other, but at that point you started tearing past people in front of you, and you were both touching distance of the top 10.
A lot of it was like confidence. I think for both of us, we were like itching to the finish. I know we both heard him. I just wanted to get there.
By the end, it had nothing to do with the competitiveness. It was just about how quickly can I make this stop.
Yeah, it really was that, and I really was pushing hard because I wanted it to end. And we got there.
You went all the way through the night in that last. That was a solid effort.
Yeah, well, I finished at like 1 in the morning.
Yeah,
so it wasn't.
that's
but
perfect.
I
That's
was
a
like,
big outcome.
I was like, yeah, I need to get this done. I'm
Yeah.
not sleeping and waking up again. I hate the mornings.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I can't wake up in the morning, so getting this done.
Yeah.
So are you both going to be back for beer part 2 to continue this battle? And we got something to look forward to
That
there?
would be cool. We won't be rookies then, so yeah, we might be partying with the big boys, eh?
Yeah. If you'd asked us this a couple of days ago, it's definitely a different answer. I think, yeah, I've been talked into it by myself and hearing everybody else, including you, being like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, yeah, I guess so. Probably be there.
Yeah.
So you've graduated from chapter 1.
Yeah,
On to
and
chapter
from,
2.
Yeah.
from rookies to not rookies.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And our other rookie, Ivan, who scratched around Asciano, Strada Bianchi, he's hungry for more.
Yeah.
The race.
That's
He
good.
took it easy this year.
Yeah.
He came in for a holiday, and that's what he got.
Yeah. No.
So it'll be interesting to see how
Took it easy. He was ahead of both of us, wasn't
Was he?
Yeah, he was a beast.
It's cruising.
Yeah.
But I think that's about self care. So he was sleeping 8 hours a night
Wow,
and just moving fast.
it is a holiday, isn't it?
Yeah,
Pool,
yeah,
10
swim
cents.
in the busy.
Oh wow.
And probably when you were in the doctors or
Yeah,
when you were miserable.
Yeah.
Beast.
I do find it quite fascinating how you were always bubbly, it seemed,
Mm.
and you were really miserable sometimes.
Do you think?
It,
Did I give that vibe?
I heard.
it takes a lot to bring me down.
Yeah.
I've been through the ringer.
Yeah, and yet we're both smiling. What you're 24 hours after the event, and you now signing up to chapter 2. So it's great to see you guys how well you've got on.
I don't think I was visual. I enjoyed it. I just the minute I have any like negative emotion or I'm just like cameras out and I'm venting it, I'm like, get it out of me. Like I'm just spewing it. It's like and then I'm like, okay, I'm back enjoying the views and I've had some caffeine and I feel like waking now, let's go.
Did you have the same sort of
I had
experience?
a camera with me. I didn't do so much talking to it, but there were some, like very intense emotional roller coasters. Just thinking about where I've come from and what it's taken to get here, and just the thought of actually being able to cross the finish line or make it to the finish line brought me to tears at stages. Yeah, so I was quite proud of myself.
You shouldn't be proud.
Even just for making it to the Bezzy set, I was
welling
quite,
up,
was
right?
quite emotional.
You were welling up.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's absolutely
You did
amazing.
fantastic. Yeah, both of you.
And what was it like when you obviously you knew each other's names more so than anything from the dots you were watching on the map all the time? But Will was there to greet you when you came in, just behind you,
Yeah.
11th and 12th places respectively, which is amazing. And you spent a little bit of time together over the last couple of days.
That was much
How-
better.
how's that been?
Better to put some personality behind the Will bloody Dixon that I was seeing on this thing.
Will bloody
Will
Dixon.
bloody Dixon. Oh, that Will Dixon.
I'm the same. I'm like Sam freaking Murray, Muscat, Murray, whatever his freaking Aussie name
Is
is.
it what you call it? Sam frigging Muscat.
Yeah, like suddenly I was like, what's this? I don't even know who he is. Just Sam the Aussie bloke. Like,
Yeah.
why is he hunting me?
And have you found that talking to one another, there's been a lot of things you've had in common about the way you attack the race,
For
and
sure.
the way
Similar tactics, similar.
We are similar in a sense, but polar opposites in a lot of ways as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the way we rode is different.
Yeah,
But
so
then there's
he's-
mistakes we made.
Will being kind of fires up in the late afternoon where I'm ready to go from the get go. Especially if I sleep in the dirt, I'm hungry for it in the morning.
You would wake up earlier,
Mhm.
and then I'd look at the dot and be like in my sleeping bag, like, fuck, dude, he's like caught hard, or he's pushed ahead of me miles, and I'm like, I need to get ahead of soon. And then yeah, you'd be distancing, and I was like, don't know how to do this, and then you'd start to get later on, you
Yeah.
start to slow down and just need to hit the hay. And I'd be like, yeah, getting into my ground.
Yeah, you came past me one time so chirpy, and I was like, oh, I swear maybe
It was coming to that ski result.
yeah. So after maybe
You were suffering. Man.
10 minutes after our interaction, and you powered on into the next town and got yourself some accommodation, I veered off the side of the road, collapsed into a ditch, and slept for about an hour after I booked the accommodation. And the accommodation was 500 meters away. And just looking at the 500 meters, I was like, no, not happening. I just slept where I was, even knowing that I had a nice, warm, cozy bed.
Wow.
A cool, cozy bed.
I'd-
I couldn't make it.
Is that you were falling asleep, or was that?
I full on,
muscular?
I fell asleep on the side of the road. People pulled over twice and said, "Hey, what's going on? You okay?"
We've heard stories, quite a few stories like that.
Yeah,
of people, riders being interrupted by
Murders, yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm just crazy across here. Are you really? No, I'm doing
It really suits me, this ultra racing thing. I think like the part-time kind of nomadic homelessness. It's my thing. I like it.
It's so Aussie, like sleeping in the bush, man.
I love
I like it too. I do a lot of sleeping outside. Call me Mr. Rigadooga back in work.
Madouga.
Yeah.
Do you know what I find fascinating about you two is sometimes you're very similar in your own right,
Mm,
but you're also quite different personalities.
mm.
So, like, I remember a conversation that you're a carnivore, you were a carnivore, and you're a vegan.
Well, like partly vegetarian.
Vegetarian.
Yeah. I do call myself a veggie biopacker on my Strava name, but I'm more like an opportunistic eater. Like if I was in Oz and some dude was saying, "Oh, here, have a chicken palmy or something, I'm gonna eat that food. Like I eat I don't like waste. I eat what's gonna be in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So you're flexitarian.
I'm a bit flexy, I guess. Yeah, that's
Sam, most memorable story from the road, if you can boil it down to one thing.
Probably the wildlife encounters that were pretty memorable. Like I saw some very majestic stag deer coming down from one of the
One of the gates.
from one of the gates there.
Would that be Pasugodi?
I think so. Yeah. So I came through there about 10 o'clock at night, and just zooming through and like having stags gallop up like next to you was absolutely stunning.
Will, for you?
So one of my favourite moments was definitely coming over the top of through some of those beautiful Italian little villages. I know Ryan was taking photos of me. I felt like I was only about 100 k's away from the finish, and it was just came over. It was like sunset with the gold and orange sky, and I had a massive descent in front of me down towards Foggia, and it was like, wow, okay, I've actually done it. Like I've actually made it. Like I'm an ultra cyclist. I'm going to finish this thing. And it was like, that was just unreal, that sensation.
Well, you are both officially proper ultra cyclists now.
Retired
You've
ultra
completed-
Yeah.
Graduated.
Graduated, retired, you've done it. You're amongst a band
We
of
did it.
a few individuals who do this crazy sport. For people looking at doing this, for the next generation of rookies, what advice would you have for them with this daunting task of being raced in front of them?
Don't let it be daunting. Just jump into it. Jump into it. Find a community, a local community. If you don't have anybody, just go out by yourself. Go for a big bike ride. Get yourself a tent. Doesn't have to be fancy at all. Just get something. Put a backpack on it, even if you need to go. Just go. You'll learn all the lessons you need to on the road.
Yeah, there's no pressure of the racing either. Like, the adventure part comes first.
I think the adventure
and
part is
then if
amazing.
you just decide that actually you want to try it quickly and put yourself up against testing against others, why not then? So that's what I think. The adventure is like the primary reason why you do it. Then the speed and the racing come secondary. And it's interesting. Jump in.
Wonderful words. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate taking the time to talk to us today. And I'm glad that you've mended the rifts until next year.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
and the
next
battle.
year. You think this year was bad? Wait till you see next year.
Well, there you go. Stay tuned to
Look at
it.
them shining at the side of the road, like, throwing bikes. I'll be sticking as
My
spokes.
ultra cycling and boxing match.
Stay tuned to this podcast.
We'll be stalking each other on Strava over winter.
How's his training going?
How many kilometers
20 hours in a week?
I'll do more. I'll do 10 miles.
Well, this is going to definitely continue to the bar, I think, this evening. Thank you very much for listening to us from Ian, Sam, Will, and myself. That is all we've got time for today. Please like and subscribe to the channel for lots more of this content. We'll have more interviews with riders as they come off the circuit. Hopefully the women very soon as well. Thanks a lot. That's ciao from us.
Ciao for now.
Adios.